GoLoud.
Welcome back to the Weekly Roast. How's it going, guys? How the hell are you? How are your hearts? And of course, forevermore, the most important thing to ask yourself throughout all of this Yuletide madness, how are your heads? Guys, what's going on? Welcome back. It's the final show of 2024. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This will be a very brief bit of earnestness, I promise. But to think that the show is less than a year old, and within that year, we have been the number one podcast across all genres in the country. We are Apple Podcasts, top new comedy podcast of the year. I've been blown away by the support, and we've come a long way from our very first episode when like Mrs. Jollies came in to tell us she'd done a dump outside in her back garden or something. Do you know what I mean? So each and every one of you who tunes in every week, thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you to everybody who has sent me a kind message about the podcast over the year. You know, it's a very strange phenomenon to be talking into the ether by yourself in a room. So it's hugely reassuring and enormously uplifting to get your feedback on the episodes when they go out each week. So thank you so much. Here's to the next one and all of the best. But of course, by the way, let me be very clear. I am not alone in this endeavour. As always, perched upon my festive bust, post-cinnamon bun, unquenching lust. For liquid of white, and I don't mean snow, it's the fluid of cows from way down below. He's the elf on our shelf, or the décolletage, the censor of self, and he's hiding in bras. This boy is for milk, don't bore him with cookies. Just flash him and utter, ooh, sucky, sucky. He produces our show with the milkiest mitts, and he mangles your voices and fondles my tits. He lives in a land of dairy and cream. He drank from my chest and he dared me to dream. He's the host of the roast that will rarely be seen. The bones and the broth and the work in between. He's our darling, our angel with milk on his lip. There was also one time when he sucked my dérangement. It's the roast of Christmas drama. Kieran, by the way, was the only little boy in Ireland who wanted Santa to go back up the chimney so he could be left alone with the plate of cookies and the milk. How are we, boy?
Good. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Also, Kieran, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I am 34 years of age today, which is just... It's depressing, guys. And before we get it, I also have a bit of a cough. One of those sort of real dry, one of those coughs that sounds like a lawnmower with a golf tee caught in the motor. Do you know what I mean? Or a chainsaw halfway through a tree. Or one of those people who operates the Magic Mouse ride at Funderland, who lives on a strict diet of 80 Dunhill lights per day and 9 cans of Jolt Cola. So forgive me if I'm a little bit raspy. Guys, just before we get into the Christmas roast, something that's been bothering me. This is going to sound a bit grinchy. Also, feel free to wish me happy birthday. Thank you. Patreon.com/Mark Megan. There you go. I'd forgotten to plug the Patreon. If you like my writing, please subscribe to patreon.com/Mark Megan. The link is in the bio. It's your happy Christmas to me. Think of it that way. Nevertheless, rang up my GP in the weekend, right? Well, actually on Friday. So I have to get bloods. Everything's okay, but I have to get bloods. And of course, you know, once you get through, it takes a while. And then she says to me, do you think this is normal, right? A normal phraseology. She goes, yeah, that's okay, Mark. Can I pop you in there for Valentine's week? Valentine's week? Is that just after the pyjama party and the funeral of the tooth fairy? What an absurdly inappropriate way to discuss time in a doctor's surgery. Do you know what I mean? Hiya, Mark. Sonia here from the Beacon Hospital. Yeah, listen, we have your test results. I'm sorry it's not good news. Would you be free to come into us for a chat on Pancake Tuesday? Do you know what I mean? It's not it's just not professional. I mean, okay, Christmas I understand, but any other day you're taking the piss. Hiya, is that the VHI? Yeah, hi, Mark Megan here. Listen, I'm just calling on behalf of my granny because she's due in for a scan on her head after. Yeah, sure thing, Mark. We've got her in on National Steak and Blowjobs Day. Is that correct? Hello? Yeah, is that correct? Well, she hasn't mentioned anything about the steaks. It's the roast of Christmas drama. We're starting with the worst perverted story of them all to kick off the Yuletide madness with gladness. On Ivan, my friends. And by the way, on Christmas Day, there will be a special episode of the show released just for you. It is... Will I tell them?
At the end.
At the end, we'll tell you. We'll tell you at the end. On Ivan, let's go.
A colleague's friend of mine went for drinks on Christmas Eve one year and they had afters back at his house. Things escalated from there and they took the turkey out of the fridge and all took turns fucking it.
No.
The next day he had to watch his whole family, including his granny, eat the turkey for Christmas dinner.
No.
And his father said it was the most moist turkey he'd ever had.
He didn't say that, by the way. And that is just foul. Huh? Very good, Christmas. I despair. What went through the heads of all of them at once? That surely eating the turkey would have been the first thing to come up with. There's a big, massive turkey in the fridge there. Oh yeah, lovely. Should we shag it? No, I was thinking Sambos. Do you know what I mean? That is, as you might say, my boy, derangement levels of. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's depraved. It's the antithesis of festivity. It reminds me of, there's a guy I knew who came in, back, Christmas Eve used to be our massive night. Like Christmas Eve and up north, they seem to drink on Christmas Day. They go to the boozer on Christmas Day, whereas growing up for us, it was like Christmas Eve and then Stephen's Day, the wheels fell off entirely. But I remember on Christmas Eve, a guy in my year coming back home, he got into sort of a wrestling match with the Christmas tree, which resulted in him knocking over the Christmas tree, his trousers falling down, and him getting sick on himself and other stuff. And his parents came down, like he still had 3 younger siblings, and the parents came down on Christmas morning and were like, get upstairs to your room for the whole day and we don't want to see you again. So, still didn't shag a turkey though. Let's go.
Hi Mark, so my Christmas Day drama, my granny used to make, she was quite crafty and she used to make crackers every year for whoever was at the dinner table. One particular year she wasn't getting on very well with my aunt-in-law, so she decided to put a lacy black thong with diamantes in her cracker. My auntie opened said cracker and as you can imagine, the thong fell out of the table. Cue radio silence from everyone except my dad, who was absolutely pissing himself in the corner, and my granny, who was sniggering away. Didn't go down well. Granny then proceeded to drink 2 bottles of Prosecco and wear the said diamante thong on her head for the remainder of the evening. To be fair, both my granny and my auntie are no longer with us, so I like to think they're having a good spirit about it and have a doubt, thank God.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And rest in peace to your granny and your auntie. I will say this, usually when your granny starts putting underwear on her head, that's when she's going to need round the clock care. That's when the sons and daughters have to start delegating. Do you know what I mean? That's when it's like, okay, when the Lacenzla crotchless one piece has been worn like a festive balaclava, that's when the men with butterfly nets are called. Do you know what I mean? Did I ever tell you about many years ago, like when one of my grannies was dying, we had this family member who shall remain nameless, but she was keen on putting Nana in a home from when she was like 62. Do you know what I mean? One of those, like she had her eye in the gaff and that was the end of it. It was one of those like, Jesus, Granny's fucking, she wasn't too sharp at her 5k times recently. She's letting them slip. There's a place up in Sandyford Industrial Estate. Do you know what I mean? If we all chip in together, I think we sell the gaff. Let's sell the gaff. But she used to do these like tests with my Nana to see if she was still cognizant in order to determine whether or not we should send her into a home. They were completely outrageous. She'd be like, okay, Mum. My granny would be like, yeah, hi, yeah. She'd be like, look, The doctors here, I know you just had a bit of a fall over the weekend. My granny would have had a little fall, completely fine, out gardening or something and just slipped on a bit of grass. Nothing. She's like, listen, just because of the fall, we've got Dr. Mulcahy here and, a couple of other specialists, and we just need to ask you these couple of questions, basically just to see if you're going to be okay at home by yourself, because, if you're not, it'll just be much easier to get you away from us, get us everywhere, get it off our fucking hands. Do you know what I mean? So just we want you to stay. That's the most important thing to remember. I want you to stay here. So I'm just going to ask you 3 simple questions and hopefully you'll be able to, yeah, okay, yeah. She was more fine than that. But anyway, she'd go, first question, who's the President of Ireland, Mum? Now, you know that, very easy. Who's the President of Ireland? She'd be like, Michael D. Higgins. Yes, Michael D. Higgins. She'd go, yeah, oh, fuck. Yeah, you got that. Well done, Mum. Question number 2. What's the highest mountain in Ireland? Oh, the McGillicuddy Reeks, I think. Oh, well done again. You've gotten it right again, Mum. Well done. Okay, third question. Who was the junior economic minister in East Timor in 1993? I'll have to think about that. Take her away, boys.
So about 5 or 6 years ago, my now husband and I went for Christmas dinner with the mother-in-law and all her side of the family. We went for a walk after the meal. I was allergic to going in the first place, so I kind of gave him the eye to get up and go. He got dirt on his pants leaning on a gate out on the walk, and somebody commented on it when we came back. His mother stood up and said, "Oh, that's John," we'll say. He's always been attracted to shit. What a bitch. Absolute goal. Melt. Dose. Vile. I'm angry just thinking about her.
Okay, stop doing my job for me. But that's the sort of dirt stuff that we've been talking about. No, I'm joking. That is absolutely vile. What an odious Christmas wench. Do you know what I mean? Fortunately, let's be honest, I got extraordinarily lucky with my in-laws. Like, I really did. All jokes aside, I get on fabulously well with my in-laws. I love them. They have smothered me with love since I first met there, and it's just been an absolute pleasure getting to know all of the Garys. Although we were over in Claire and Eugene's house last night for the Castleknock Christmas party, okay? And always there'd be a bit of slagging, just a little bit of light banter about accents. About my accent being a South Dublin accent and their accent, being from Clare rather, the Banner County. So we all had to do a party piece. And everybody started slagging me, being like, "Oh, what's Mark going to do in his South Dublin accent?" So I thought, why don't I do a different accent? And I was thinking, would I maybe go for the Doolin accent, because they're all from Doolin. And anyway, I was thinking about it. I was under pressure, and it was on me. We'd gone around the room. Everybody had done their party piece and gotten the presents. So then it was on me to do mine. So I stood up, I took a deep breath, and I gave it my best attempt at doing a true Doolin impression from the Banner County. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bell, dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. All the fields we got, laughing all the way. Bells on bob they ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to ride and sing our sleighing song tonight. So who do you have in the Secret Santa, Huge?
So my brother's ex-mother-in-law, so he was married and now they're not married anymore. It's about 4 years ago now. She took €25 each off them for a Christmas dinner, and they weren't allowed to go if they didn't pay up beforehand. My wife just came in there and reminded me of another section to the madness. If they were calling on like a normal day, they'd have to bring their own biscuits. She'd lock away the biscuits in their house. So basically, if they didn't bring their own biscuits, they'd have no biscuits when they landed on. Oh yeah, they had plenty of money. They used to get a new car every 6 months. Just miserable, miserable wasn't even the word for it. Even on the day that they got married, that they went back up to the house, she was hunting people out of the house when they were getting their photos taken out in the lawn. When my father got a biscuit then the day of the wedding, and it was the prized possession, he was nearly afraid to eat it. We'd all be sneering in the background.
I mean, misery. Les Miserables. The sort of self-appointed turkey tax woman is the human embodiment of Yuletide tightness. Also, sorry, Ebenezer Scrooge wouldn't be that scabby. €25? Are you mad? You'd almost get 2 packets of Green Farm turkey for that in the supermarket, like. Fucking expensive, that Green. The thing about Green Farm turkey is, oh cool, I've got a packet of turkey. Oh great, there's only 3 slices in it. So when you take it out of the fridge, you automatically have the first slice by hand. That's just the rule, isn't it? That you have to immediately force feed one straight. As you're walking from fridge to table, you have to just shove one into your mouth because that doesn't count then. Do the same with chocolate. And then you have 2 pieces of turkey left. €25 would almost get you a medium meal in Supermax these days. Like, since when have they adopted the same price model as the Ivy? It's absolute. Oh, great. We're in Barack Obama Plaza. I wouldn't mind a medium chicken and chips. That'll be €63. Would you like it warm? That'll be €78. Would you like it hot? That'll be £1,000. Do you want to drink with that? Give me one of your kidneys. I don't get Supermax. I used to back in the day. There was this muffin thing you could get with ice cream. D'Orangement levels of delicious. But now it's just completely insane, the prices. And I don't care about this David Goliath legal battle against McDonald's. This is just, it's gouging. It's complete and utter Christmas gouging, a la the woman charging people £25 a head. She's making money on that. At least she's not shagging it.
My friend got so drunk Christmas Day, tried to take a dump under the Christmas tree, thought he was in the bathroom, and there was still presents and all under the tree. And his dad walked in, and he just cacks around his ankles, and he threw him outside into the garden with his cacks around his ankles and left him there.
Is your friend a golden retriever? Do you know what I mean? I love the way she says he was doing a dump under the tree even though there were presents there. As if, like, if the presents weren't there, fire away, mate. Oh yeah, no worries at all. Just move the selection boxes, forget the decorations, get on with the defecation. It's complete. This is, sometimes when people get drunk, they pee in wardrobes and stuff. It's like a sleepwalking weird thing. Doing a dump under a Christmas tree, that's not like a common occurrence. I mean, it's still less offensive than the basic couples getting pictures in front of the Christmas tree. Just remembered I did that 2 years ago. There, damn, I've become everything I used to roast. And that's the game. The boy does good and all the rest. Nevertheless, yeah, when you're doing a dump under the tree, it's over. That's when Christmas is over. Guys, I hope you're enjoying the Christmas roast. It's great to be here. This is the last show of the year, and if you've enjoyed it, let me know. If you've enjoyed any of the shows across the year, send me a DM on Instagram. Consider subscribing to the Patreon, patreon.com/Mark Megan. You get bonus content and exclusive articles there every single week in case the weekly roast isn't just enough for you. So, this next one it's genuinely, I don't know how to articulate how grotesque it is. So for the sensitive souls, ears, hearts and mouths, please just be careful, okay? Because this next one is depraved. Onival, let's go.
Oh God, this is a bad one. So about 2 years ago, in my cousin's friend group in a nice Dublin suburb, they're friends with this couple, and they got engaged, and her family were from this Dublin suburb by the sea, and he was from the country, and it was Christmas. It was their first Christmas engaged, so they decided that they would do with her family. So it's Christmas Eve. They're back in their family home. They've been out in town enjoying drinks all day, and they decide to have a few nightcaps back in the house, which is nice. The country boy fiance is enjoying himself up at the big smoke, and anyway, the fiance who lives in the house, she decides to go to bed. The dad has gone to bed, but the husband said, or the fiance says, look, I'm going to stay up for a few more drinks. I'm just enjoying the merriment of it all. A couple hours goes by. She's lying in bed and no sign of her fiance. But there's no sound of music or anything downstairs, so she doesn't think much more of it. Another hour goes by, he's still not there. She decides she's going to get a glass of water. She goes down the stairs and just decides to peek her head into the living room, where she sees her mother being licked out on the couch by her fiance.
No.
Suffice to say, she's not delighted. She goes up and wakes her dad up, tells him exactly what she's seen, and 2 marriages ruined, family breakup, and complete tragedy. So I think that warrants the the retelling on Christmas Day drama.
More of a tragedy than a tragedy, but still. That there is no universe wherein I think this could be true. This makes EastEnders look like the Angelus. Do you know what I mean? This makes Mia Khalifa seem like Mother Teresa. This is... Fancy a nightcap? A what? A nightcap. Oh, sorry. What? No, never mind. I thought you just said something different. Mrs. O'Sullivan, what did you think I meant? And then she opens her legs, Sharon Stone style. I thought you meant a night flap. Do you know what I mean? Well, of course, that's exactly what I meant. Mind if I dig in? Because your daughter's upstairs and I'll need to use some Listerine before giving her a goodnight Christmas kiss. Put your minge away, Mrs. O'Sullivan. This is Saddle Up the Reindeer, Santa's on his way. Derogement levels of minge licking madness. This is fucking insanity. No, it didn't happen. There's no glance. There's no lingering eye contact that could last long enough, which would result in somebody going, I'm going to perform oral sex on you. Unless I've lived a very sheltered life, which according to some of the recent roasts, apparently I have. I actually think my book is just like child's play now. Now that after the roast, I realised my book was like the gateway drug into the madness that is the weekly roast. I was living a very sanitised life, drinking myself into oblivion and despairing about my existence every single other week. Good Lord. Would you like a night flap? No, thank you. I'm engaged to your daughter. Good night, Mrs. O'Sullivan. Nice dressing gown, though. By the way, I hope you get a chainsaw on the Secret Santa. No. Leaf blow trim. No, let's. On we go. Just like the Republican Party in the US across the 80s and 90s, we're going from one bush to another. Let's go. Bit of a political gag. Not really. Doesn't make sense because there was somebody in between and I've forgotten who.
So, a few Christmases ago, my father-in-law sat in our living room and said, "You have a lovely bush."
Good stuff.
And obviously my face was very confused by this, so he repeated to tell me I had a lovely bush, to which I still looked very confused at. So the third time he says, "You have a lovely bush, your tree is lovely." So yeah, he was actually referring to my Christmas tree and thankfully not my actual bush.
Did she need to let us know that she has a bush at the end of it? Like, was that necessary? Was any of this necessary? Can we just ask ourselves that? I don't believe that the father is totally innocent. You have a lovely bush. Excuse me? You have a lovely bush. Whilst just making eye contact. Yeah, you're a pervert. We know that you're not talking about the Christmas bloody cairn. Do you know what I mean? Is cairn a tree? Cran. Damn. The humiliation of that. I think there's hidden motives there. I think that's one of those ones where you can get away in a technicality, which creeps and perverts often do. Oh no, jeez, you know, whenever somebody starts doing that with their jowls, hold on right there now a second. I only having a laugh there. There was just a couple of people, couple of handies, couple of laughs, she's been working here for ages, and I always have a very good laugh with her. I have a very good laugh with her every time she brings her drinks down. And that was just one time, you know what I mean? That's when that little sort of, it's like whenever your uncle's over at Christmas and he's had a few wines and he starts to, now look, I'm just asking the question. Oh good, racist is about to come out of his mouth. Something racist, something anti-COVID. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for telling us that you have a bush. Now guys, we interrupt the show to bring you a very special announcement. Over the last couple of weeks, myself and Kieran were wondering, because Wednesday falls on Christmas Day this year, which of course would mean that a show should go out. However, of course, we aren't going to be in the studio on Christmas Day. We'll be with our respective families. Both of us experiencing our first year married, actually, at Christmas, which is lovely. So what we've decided to do is release the debut, inaugural. It's the Roast Wonderful Quiz of the year. On Christmas Day, there will be a quiz released for you guys to do with your family and friends or whoever you spend the day with. Every year for like the last 5 years, whoever's followed me on Instagram for that long will know that I'm always looking for a decent quiz on Christmas Day to do with the family after dinner. I could never find one. There was a half-decent Radio Times one, but they haven't updated it in a long time. Blah, blah, blah. So myself and Kieran have been working behind the scenes to put together our own one. It's the Roast Wonderful Quiz of the Year. So it's going to be a quiz all about 2024, suitable for all ages. And it will be released on Christmas Day in this exact same place, wherever you get the podcast, just for you guys as a little happy Christmas present. You can listen to it anytime over the festive break, and yeah, do it with your family and friends. It's going to be done sort of in the style of like an Irish oral exam in the Leaving Cert. You know, an deire cain teoir, léigh na córamach agus na chéisteanach I gceann na chuid a. That sort of style. Nevertheless, happy Christmas for myself and Ciarán and everybody in GoLoud in the Weekly Roast to you and yours. I hope you have a good one. And also, definitely do not spend an inordinate amount of time looking at Instagram and wondering why everybody else's happiness looks a lot more colorised and vibrant and real than yours. It doesn't exist. It's all a sham. It's all a fraud. The photos of the mum going, she's outdone herself this year, or the boy did good with the 15 shopping bags. It's all nonsense. Everybody else is as confused emotionally, mentally, physically and all the rest. Go easy on yourself. Enjoy your time off. And we will see you in the new year. Happy Christmas.
My friend lives in Dublin, and at that time, like, was in college and used to come home, say, every weekend or whatever, and obviously she was home for Christmas. And we did the 12 pubs, and she went home that night absolutely scutter drunk. And they like have a magnificent home. If you imagine like their stairs going in L shape, so the tree sat at like the 90-degree angle of the L shape. So she went home that night absolutely scutter drunk, and whatever she was doing or wasn't doing, she fell right across the banister on top of the Christmas tree. Totally flattened. There was like 2 wicker reindeer sitting in front of the Christmas tree, and she flattened them. So, and obviously, broke all the decorations. So like when her parents woke up to this noise, they ran out, and there she was like lying flat, face down on the ground, on top of these 2 flattened reindeer with the Christmas tree in bits and all these baubles rolling around the ground in shite.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, climbing down the Christmas tree like some sort of drunken fireman, you know. This is genuinely like a scene from the Irish version of Bridget Jones. Bridget O'Connor, you know. I love, in a very Irish way, nobody discussing it, but just the mother silently using cable ties to make sure that the tree is connected to the banisters next year. That's a very Irish way of dealing with the issue. It reminds me of like going to stay in my cousin's house as a kid and their mum making sure every time that there's a plastic sheet under the bed that I'm sleeping in. Do you know what I mean? Because old Megan used to have an old case of the downstairs waterworks most nights. Chronic bedwetting till the age of 9, would you believe? Made sleepovers very tough. So spare a thought this Christmas. Patreon.com / Mark Megan. They say, joking aside, they say bedwetting. I remember reading this in a Roald Dahl book. They say bedwetting is very prevalent amongst geniuses, psychopaths, and the chronically average with delusions of grandeur. So surely the box is ticked in some shape or form. Nevertheless, on we go.
So this was Christmas 2021. My granny was in a nursing home, which meant that we all had to get a test before visiting her. My mum, she had appointed herself COVID expert in our house. So on Christmas Day, when Dad was doing his test, she kept telling him he wasn't putting the swab far enough up his nose to get an accurate reading. So anyway, Dad is doing his test. We're all drinking, playing Uno, having the best time. Next thing we hear, Dad tearing the sitting room apart. He dropped the swab and he couldn't find it anywhere. This was our last COVID test, so everyone's frantically looking for the swab. We're all down on our hands and knees looking around the sitting room. And now I look up at my dad and I can see this little sliver of white sticking out of his nose. It was one of the short COVID tests. So the next hour consisted of us all drunkenly failing to take this COVID test out of Dad's nose. Eventually, my brother's an electrician. He had a pair of pliers. So we got the yolk out, but not without my mum getting the roasting of her life because of her testing expertise. She's an accountant. She has no business telling us what to put up our nose.
I mean, I think I've said it before in the podcast, but I'll say it again. The nose would probably be the best case scenario in terms of the orifices that you'd most like to have your family crowd around and pull things from. The nose would be up there, like. No, ear first, then the nose, bum last. Definitely bum last. Yeah, or, you know, like when you reach that age of, I don't know what age you are, but you know, when it becomes the age when you can no longer show your parent, you like, you know, as a certain, you'd be like, oh, mum, my willy's sore. And, you know, I'm not going to go down this line of thinking, I don't think. Nevertheless, in terms of things going up people's noses at Christmas, this is not what I was expecting. You know, from my days at my 20s, this was not what I was expecting. I was one of those guys, back in the days of my drinking and all the rest, I was one of those wankers who'd walk around on like the 22nd of December and be like, yeah, it's weird, like, just doesn't feel Christmassy this year. Yeah, it just doesn't feel Christmassy at all. Yeah, Mark, I don't think Santa usually goes to Cafe on Seine on a Thursday. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's... Also, Santa was delivering bags, not ordering them. Do you know what I mean? I was clinically depressed, so laugh all you want. No, I'm joking. Okay, let's go. Guys, it's the final section of the final roast of the year, and I am so happy you are here. Happy Christmas. Thank you so much for listening across the year. We hugely appreciate it. Here's to 2025 and all that is going to come with it. 2025, it's the year we go live. Am I right, my man? The last section, if you enjoy the podcast, do me a favour, share it with a friend, click subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, and also subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Mark Megan. Let's go. On y va.
How's it going there, Mark? Yeah, so I went to India when I was about 18, 19, came back vegetarian, thought I was real zen. It was around Christmas when I came back, so we were having the Christmas dinner. 10-year-old brother decided to wave a bit of turkey in my face, think it'd be gas. So I grabbed his face and I shoved it into his Christmas dinner. Mashed potato, gravy, it was everywhere. A lot of tears. Suffice to say, wasn't considered to be very zen after that, and also no longer a vegetarian. Cheers.
The amount of people that are just like no longer vegetarians seems to be on the rise. You love to see it. You also love to see an expat revealing their true selves. Nothing gives me greater joy than seeing an expat come back home with, you know, the types. We all see them at Christmas time. They come back home and they start trying to pay for pints in their local with like United Airlines air miles. And you're like, would you just... Oh, do you guys not take black Amex? No, of course you don't. Oh, Shaughnessy's, the one fucking stool pub on the rear arse of, you know, no, we don't take black Amex. Yeah, but you know these guys, they come back boasting to you that they've got 5 different credit cards and one of them gives them access to discounted hotel stays. And halfway through them talking about their 6th credit card, you realise now exactly how recessions start. The smug expats at Christmas. Oh, do you guys still, you know, when they're like, do you want to meet up? We haven't seen each other. You're like, yeah, why don't we go down to O'Shea's Cafe for breakfast? Oh, O'Shea's? Oh, God. Do you still go there, do you? Yeah, we do, yeah. We still eat in O'Shea's. There was nothing wrong with it for your entire life. Do you know what I mean? So there shouldn't be anything. These people who are just really small, it filters into everything they do. They start even then... You know, oh, what are you making Christmas dinner? Yeah, probably just do the usual red cabbage, which is delicious, by the way. And if people don't like red cabbage, they need to take one hard look at their palate. But, you know, oh yeah, you're doing sprouts. Yeah, doing sprouts. Oh, just normal sprouts. Yeah, just normal sprouts, yeah. Oh, no, we'll do them pureed in honey with a little bit of bacon. Okay, good. Just relax, like. Now, the poor brother, he definitely got some shock, I'd say, when you shoved his face Nickelodeon 1997 style into hot pie, do you know what I mean? Into his plate of dinner. Speaking of surprises, at Christmas time, can we talk about the surprise video brigade? You know these people? Good God. These great big emotional John Lewis-like videos on Instagram just because they've arrived in the door 24 hours before them when they were expected in the first place. Do you know what I mean? You live in East London, mate, not the Galapagos, you know? You booked the 5:30 flight out of Heathrow rather than the 19:10. You used your mother's credit card details to do so. This isn't that big of a surprise. Oh yeah, but did you not see how shocked she looked in the video though? Man, you jumped out from behind a stack of toilet rolls in Tesco, shoving a camera in her face, screaming, surprise, surprise. The woman was fucking terrified. This isn't the final scene of Love Actually that you think it is. Do you know what I mean? My theory on this is that people who record themselves surprising family members are ultimately just narcissists. You were home for Halloween. You were home for Diwali. You spend more time in Ireland than Nile Rodgers featuring Chic or Depression. Do you know what I mean? Outrageous carry on. I do love, I'll be honest, and we have a lot of rural Irish listeners. I do love the rural Irish ones. You know, the rural Irish surprises where people go home and they sort of sneak around the side of the house to burst into the kitchen from the back door as if they're like a judge on the X Factor about to tell someone they got through to the live shows, you know? And they always get the giddier, crazier, and very much more single older sister to record the video, who is the worst cameraman in the world. She has, in terms of having a steady hand, she might as well be Michael J. Fox playing the spoons. Like, no, we can't say that. But like, they creep around the house, you know, hiding behind the trampoline. And there's always a trampoline. Let's be honest, Ireland. There is always a trampoline. I don't know what the year was. Was it 2001? Was it 2006? And everybody in the world was just given a trampoline. Nevertheless, she sneaks around the side, and the mother then is just standing there, like, so completely incapable to respond to the overwhelmingness of the cameras in her face. You know, she's standing there like over the sink, peeling potatoes with a jagged rock that she's gotten from the back garden, you know, singing famine songs with a tin whistle between her legs. If you really want to surprise your parents this Christmas, tell them the truth. Hiya, Mum. I know I moved to Sydney to work as an architect, but I wasn't quite prepared for the price of local cocaine. So now I work in a coal mine every 2 months, and I've developed the lungs of a Welsh man in the 1980s. Or your sister, Catherine. Rest in peace. No, let's go.
So my sister is a bit of a disaster when it comes to Christmas. This happened over 2 Christmases, I would say. But one year we were all the family gathered around and she disappeared for kind of a long period of time, and unfortunately no one noticed until she reappeared, having been locked in the bathroom for over 30 minutes. Apparently the handle is dodgy, no one told her, so that was fine. But she walked in on conversation of another cousin complimenting me on my hair, and I said, oh, okay, I do nothing wrong, I do nothing fancy, I just use this little certain product. And she obviously walked in as I said it, and she overheard, and she screeched, "That's mine, how dare you!" She's obviously upset by the incident because she proceeded to maybe have more than she usually would, which involved her getting carried into the car and unfortunately getting sick in the bushes at our family home, which then my mother had to go out with the kettle to wash away the chunks of Christmas dinner with the kettle so the neighbours wouldn't see in the morning. I also think the year before or after, she again may have been a little bit nervous from the year before, again proceeded to drink maybe more than she normally would, and was petting what she assumed was the family dog underneath the table. It turned out that she had been touching up my cousin's boyfriend for the last hour or so. He eventually obviously had enough and he said, "Oh, I can't take it anymore." And yeah, so basically Christmas with my sister is always a good one. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work.
You've got to ask questions of the boyfriend here. Felt up for an hour or so, and that's where he draws the line. How many times did you come? Like, that is just over an hour. Eventually, you've simply got to ask some questions of the boyfriend. He can withstand heavy petting from a woman who is not his partner for over 60 minutes. And that's where he drew the line when he remembered that he was wearing chinos and shortly the meal was going to be over and he'd have to stand up to help bring the plates in. And he'd have a 4-inch semi, which would attract the lazy eye of Forrest Whitaker. You can't be just having a go at Forrest. Don't be bringing Forrest into this. Anybody know Forrest Whitaker? Forrest Whitaker's eye is effectively 63% of each character that he plays. That's his character, like. He's got such a powerful... Is it gait? What's the word to describe someone's look in their face? I don't know. Nevertheless, Forrest Whitaker. Oscar-winning Forrest Whitaker. Happy Christmas, Forrest. Yeah, this is just an all-round howler by the sister. I mean, if your mother is seen to be running to... If an Irish mother... You gotta love Irish mammy comedy. That's what I'm known for. But if an Irish mother runs out to the front garden with a kettle, she's either clearing the windscreen of ice, washing away vomit so the neighbours don't see, or joining a West Dublin car stealing gang who threaten unsuspecting members of the public with boiled water over their face. That actually happened, by the way. A cousin of mine woke up in Milltown about 6 years ago. 2 cars stolen. Called the guards. They arrived, 3.5 weeks later. And whenever they were questioning them, they were asking him questions. He was like, anything weird? He was like, well, the kettle was boiled. And he was like, well, that's what they do. They get into the gaff. If they can't find the car keys, kettle over the head. Like, just, mate. Fill the kettle with water from the sink. Don't turn it on. Threaten me with the kettle. Don't actually boil my face, please. Take the car. Dirt bags. Bean bags. Univa.
Hi, Mark. So about 15 years ago, went to the pub on Christmas Eve, had a few drinks, and my aunt was there, and I decided to have a go at her and tell her that she never went up to visit my granddad's grave. I actually have no idea if she did or not, but in my head, she didn't ever. So yeah, it got pretty heated. There was a few slaps thrown, and yeah, came back to the house and seen that my mum had made the ham, and I started hacking into it. Got up the next morning to do Santy and whatnot, and the mother told me that I ruined her Christmas, and I just went back to bed and stayed there for the entire day. Still to this day, she tells me that I ruined her Christmas that year.
I think for a second we should forget the drunken bites of ham and focus on the fight with Aunt Pam. I mean, the violent altercation with your auntie is definitely more severe on the sort of Richter scale of festive insanity than eating a little bit of the boiled ham when you get home. Do you know what I mean? Just a few slaps. Sorry? Just a few slaps with my auntie down the pub. But of course, happy Christmas. This is like the most Irish way. You know when Irish people are like, oh yeah, there's Declan. Yeah, Declan's grand. Yeah, he's fond of the drink. Oh, he's a crippling alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? Is that Dermot there? Yeah, he's a bit of a character. He touches people's bums. Do you know what I mean? That's Leanne there from down there. No, she says it how it is. She's a complete racist. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Siobhan, no, she wouldn't mince her words. She's eroded the relationship with everybody close to her. Yeah, look, having a spot of ham after a trip to the pub is definitely less offensive than the slaps of the auntie and criticising her for grave visits. It is bananas. Doof, 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 doof.
Hi, Mark. So this story is in relation to a neighbour of mine who's a bit of a character. He's probably in his late 70s, early 80s by now. Lives with his brother. Both of them are bachelors in a remote area of Connemara. So on this particular Christmas day, they were cooking the turkey in the range, which was a solid fuel burning range. And halfway through, he realised they had no more turf to burn. So he resorted to putting his own Wellingtons into the range and burning them. Obviously, that didn't go to plan, and the whole place filled with black smoke, and the chimney went on fire, and the fire brigade had to be called. So, yeah, that's the Christmas Day drama, Connemara style.
I love it. Shout out to all the Connemara listeners. Is it Connemara or Connemara?
Connemara.
I think it's Connemara. Or Connemara. I get grief though. People hate the way I say Zara. Because I used to say Zara.
Zara.
Would you consider me to have a very South Dublin accent?
Very.
Would you?
Very.
Oh God. What would be, how do I sound to you? Like, welcome back to the Weekly Roast. Here we go.
Hey guys. Mark here. How's your heads? Let's go.
Let's go. Oh God. I despise the sound of my own self. Nevertheless, if the wellies were a bad gift, I'm on board, Dermot. I think it's very dangerous, and you should definitely not be nobody should be putting things in the fire unless somebody else does it first. That's what my mum used to always say. Would you put your finger in the fire if Freddie would put his finger in the fire? Yes, there's a solid chance. I am wildly impressionable and desperate to people please. Of course I would, mother. Nevertheless, if the wellies were a bad gift, I'm on board. I went to do some Christmas shopping on the weekend, and I my golden rule, by the way, for Christmas shopping is I don't know how people get bad gifts. Like, it's like, for me, a Christmas present is like a first date. It's very easy to not get it wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's really, just keep it simple, and you're guaranteed to make somebody happy. It's very, very simple. So for me, my go-to is, if I'm buying for someone that I don't know very well, or I'm struggling to think of what, I'll just go for like a nice Christmas decoration. it's festive, it's, and it's like, oh, lovely, then they'll have it forever or whatever. Now, obviously, within reason. I'm not talking about the complete tash. There is a lot. Let's be honest, guys. I know it's great that everyone's getting on board Christmas earlier in the year, like November the 3rd and stuff, and they're buying all the festive stuff. But like, if you're purchasing a pillow that says Christmas on it in a squiggly font, you leave me no choice but to assume that your Christmas turkey will be battered and served 3-in-1 style with chef ketchup and some boil of the bag rice. That's the game. So anyway, shopping at Christmas, I went out in the weekend. Shopping at Christmas is the perfect storm because the staff are either 4 hours in the job or extremely stressed. So you manage to hit that delicious festive sweet spot where the place manages to be both impersonal and ridiculously overpriced. So I walk into Dundrum and I pass by all the regular shops, You've got the Hollister store pumping out fruity perfume to attract all the young, posh idiots. I then walk by the Superdry store, and you've got the queues of all the school teacher and members of the Gardaí looking to buy their Christmas shirt. I think it needs a few more zips, matey. Do you know what I mean? And I go up and I do some of my Christmas shopping. And it reminded me of a few years ago when COVID happened. Me and all of my best friends turned 30, okay? And because we were all at home doing nothing, well, I was drinking, but most people were doing nothing. We were at home and it was like, why don't we all chip in and throughout the year, we all got each other like really good gifts. So like I think everybody put in like 150 quid, which is a lot for a friend. But it meant that everybody got one deadly gift from like the 10 of us. So we were going around, but then this one friend for my birthday was like, lads, I'm not going to chip in on this because I've got my own gift for Mark. Okay. And by the way, let there be no confusion. I am hyper aware that, how do I phrase this? Like the guy has a very, very big job, okay? And furthermore, he had availed of the €150 from everybody else in the group throughout the whole year for his birthday. So the whole idea is that if you're in, you're in. Do you know what I mean? Nevertheless, for my birthday, he was like, yeah, I'm going to opt out of the 150 lads. So they couldn't get me what they wanted to get me. But he goes, instead, his girlfriend, this Dutch girl who he was seeing for about 3 weeks, makes these like shawls. Irish themed shawls, even though she's Dutch and he's only known her for a fortnight. And he was like, yeah, so I'm going to give Mark one of those instead. And I was like, I'm actually good for a green shawl. He's like, oh, well, it's actually worth €180 though. So it's more than the 150. I was like, is it? What's the resale on that? And also, who prices at 180? Well, she did. Cool, my book's 250 quid. Do you know what I mean? This is insane. Also, I'm all about supporting local, but you can't tell me that a green J cloth, which St. Bridget wouldn't wear as a fucking nicey, is worth €180. Oh yeah, it is, Mark, because also on the corner of it says my name and Ogham. Brilliant with the Ogham. Like, no, that's why Galliano must have left Maison Margiela, because your Dutch missus is obviously getting the gig. This is complete. It's Ogham. Why is anybody excited about Ogham? It's not, I must remember that the next time I frantically download Duolingo in the airport before trying to learn a new language in the space of 1 hour. Good luck, okay? Definitely support local. No, let me be clear. Definitely support local, but don't expect me to get excited by an Instagram ad for Hibernian gem jewellery because they put a bit of green food colouring in the top of the ring that you found at Halloween's Barnbrack. Happy Christmas. Goodbye. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Christmas special. I don't know if you could tell, but my disposition was a little bit frantic today. I suffer occasionally from insomnia, and last night was one of those nights. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, and this morning I looked at the clock and it was 4:35 a.m. and then I had to get up at 6 for this show. So I do apologise if I seemed a little bit all over the place. The answer is I am all over the place. Nevertheless, it's my birthday. We will rally. Thank you to Kieran, my man on the right here, who has helped us through the entire year and today and all of the other shows and kept the show on the road and the wheels in motion. Have a wonderful Christmas. Wednesday, Christmas Day, guys. Quiz. It'll be released there. Share with your friends. If you enjoy the show, you know what to do. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Mark Megan. And if you enjoyed it, send me a message on Instagram @MeganMark. That's all. I'll see you in the new year. All the best.